It's Lily's Corner again. Welcome. Welcome to Lily's Corner. Today on Lily's Corner, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of the kitchen. But before we go in, how are you? How do you feel? I'm sure you're good and you look gorgeous too. Now let's talk about the do's. The kitchen is an essential part of the home. It's where all our meals are prepared. There are a lot of do's. There are a lot of things that we need to do to ensure our safety in the kitchen. One of it is, do remember to wash your hands. Whenever you are in the kitchen, ensure that your hands are properly washed before you start cooking. Ensure your hands are very clean to avoid contamination. That being said, the next thing I have here is, do wipe up spills. Maybe while cooking, oil just gets to maybe spill on the floor or on the table, or maybe it's water. Ensure that you wipe it up immediately. Don't leave it for later because you might forget. It might lead to an accident. Ensure that once there's any spillage, you just clean them immediately so that you won't forget. Another thing I have here with me is, do treat your kitchen knife with respect. One of the odogus in the kitchen is your knife. Yes. Now let me tell you why I said that. Knife is actually very sharp. Like, even the ones that you think are blunt can pass through your skin. So why you no go call am odogu? Something that can harm you. So it's better you treat it with so much respect. Ensure that whenever you're using knife, you take your time, you monitor what you're doing so that you won't hurt yourself. I'm sure if you cut yourself, you feel very angry, you feel the pains and stuff. So the best thing for us to do is for us to ensure that we respect the knife, we use it appropriately. Now let's just move into the don'ts, because I think the don'ts are even more than the do. One of the don'ts I have here is, don't use the same cutting board to cut your raw meats and vegetables. If you know you have one cutting board in the house, decide on what to cut with it. Is it raw meats? Is it vegetables? You can't finish cutting your contaminated meat and the next thing you are cutting your vegetables there. It's wrong. You know why? Because we don't really cook vegetables for long. So it's actually important we cut it separately so that we won't contaminate the vegetable. Sometimes we don't even cook vegetables at all. We eat them like that. So it's actually good for us to ensure that we don't cut it in the same place with raw meat for safety's sake. And that being said, after that, another thing I have on my list here is, don't use iron utensils on your non-stick pans. If you know you have your non-stick pans in the house, ensure that you don't use any iron utensils on it. Ensure that you use the qualified utensils, like silicone, like wooden. Just use something that is not going to ruin the non-stick pan. The iron utensils actually ruins the non-stick pan. That's why you're advised to use a silicone spoon, or you go for a wooden spoon. Just don't get your iron spoon close to it. Another thing I have here on my list is, don't mix water on hot oil. If you have hot oil on fire, just ensure that your water is very far from it. Because if water gets to go into the oil might jump and it will touch your skin. Ensure that your face is very far from your oil and water is far from it. Those two things are essential. You just think it's a joke. It's actually important though. Don't hurt yourself while in the kitchen. Don't leave your food unattended. What do I mean? When you're cooking, ensure that you always check your food on intervals. don't forget that you're cooking, because if you do, you might end up burning the food, end up like, maybe you might end up doing something that you don't like. So it's better you just attend to your food, ensure that it's properly cooked. Try not to forget your food. Some of you, whenever you're cooking, that's when you know that you have to sleep, and at the end of the day you might burn your food or even burn the kitchen. So it's very important that you don't leave your food unattended, please. Let's not forget, please. Another thing I have here is, don't place your cooked food in the same place with your uncooked food. What do I mean? If you have maybe an already prepared meal and you just came back from the market, maybe you choose to eat while cooking, ensure that your cooked food is very far away from the raw food so that you won't end up contaminating the cooked food. Just keep them apart. Keep them apart. Yeah, so it's very important. Your safety first, health first. Now the one waiting inside your belly and I be your own. No. So ensure that anything that goes into your stomach is not contaminated. Eat healthy. Ensure that your food are properly cleaned. And I'll just leave you by saying this, that few minutes you want to leave your food outside before refrigerating it might end up contaminating your food. So once you're done cooking, take your food into the fridge. Like, keep it immediately in the fridge. Don't let it cool down. A lot of people have this assumption that once you're done cooking, you should let the food cool down before refrigerating it. No. Just kill that idea, because a few seconds you leave your food outside, you might end up contaminating your food. Once you're done cooking, refrigerate your food. It's not wrong. It's not a bad thing. Yes, on Lily's Corner, we get to teach you everything that you need to know about everything. Yes, we'll be bringing content back to back. Just stay ready for us. Stay ready. Before we go, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, don't forget, we love you. And you should love yourself more. I love you. Love yourself more. Enjoy yourself.